What are you up to these days? What is your current job title, would you say?
What is my MO at the moment? Well, I've always tried to sort of keep it musically based, and that's why I've done a variety of jobs in the sort of industry. But obviously, as you get a bit older, I find it's harder to keep track of what the kids are into, even though I do try, and I'm pretty I'm always up for listening to new stuff. But it's very difficult when you're not a certain age group anymore. You're not a certain age bracket. You change demographic.
You become detached, don't you?
Mate, I'm 42.
It's just natural. It's natural.
I'm an older guy, and the natural thing to do something I have to fight against is just listening to my favourite records.
Yeah.
It's difficult, You just want to go in your record, because those records are going to do the business, You sat there, we work hard. It's like you got a bit of downtime. I'll stick this album on. So to actually go out and find new things. So I find listening to, and I don't work in a music venue anymore. That's what's changed. I had a good 8-year run of being like a venue booker.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. But now, I work behind the scenes.
Are you do you class yourself self-employed? Are you sort of freelance?
Yes, freelance, and that means I've managed to become a bit of a jack of all trades, to be honest.
So what are some of the things that you've done?
Okay, so the summer I did a full UK tour with the Spice Girls.
That's what I saw. Yeah, that's on the list to talk about.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Doing what? What did you do?
Doing backstage furniture. We're literally just...
Right, okay.
So basically, say they do... I think there was 7 stadiums they did.
Right.
It was like 15 dates in all, I think. These are rough figures. And obviously at every one, there's got to be a backstage area for each one of the band.
Yep.
The backing vocalists, the dancers, the supports, the friends and family, the VIPs, the VVIPs. So you've got like 8 or 9 rooms to temporarily decorate. So you just run in, you pipe and drape, you put the couches in. You've got 2 articulated lorries that follow you around the country full of couches. And obviously I can't go into too much detail because... some of the stuff that I saw, the press would like to get their hands on. There's no doubt about it. You are in the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is, it was nice to be on a top end tour. You don't get bigger than that.
No,
I mean, maybe
not really.
You can get on a level with that.
Other variations of that.
U2,
that's the
Metallica,
top, really.
Pink, ELO. These are
selling out stadiums is selling out stadiums, whoever it is.
Exactly.
So,
and there's a select group. There's a select group that can do that, and. It's a similar thing. So to be involved in that, just to watch it, be involved, the people that I met, and, everyone was like, oh, did you meet the Spice Girls? I was like, I sort of let onto them a couple of times, but I'm not there for that. But so that was one of the things that I've sort of, as I've got into just insisting on working in music, doors open.
Of course. The longer you're in there.
I've always said this, if you're heading in the right direction, and you're working hard, doors open. You can't plan on them opening. If you'd have said to me 2 years ago, oh, you'll end up on this tour or doing that or working for this venue, I wouldn't have known that and I couldn't have planned for it. But because I was in the game and I was doing bits and I was making myself useful to certain people, opportunities arise.
You've proved yourself.
Yeah.
That's why.
But
it's part of it.
On the other hand, it was tiring. It's a tiring life, that. And a lot of the guys that do it, there's 50, 60-year-old guys on those tours doing like video lighting, special effects or whatever. And, they're on good money, but... they earn it.
Takes its toll.
Those tour buses are not fun to sleep on.
No.
It was the first tour I'd ever done on a tour bus. I'd done splitter tours. Obviously, you can get to... a lot of bands will do it in 2 estates, won't they? It's doable, isn't it? But to do a proper tour bus tour was a first for me, and a lot of my friends have done it. And I don't know how. They're fun. It's fun, but those...
the longer it goes on...
I didn't find it... I mean, luckily we were getting put up in really nice hotels on the day off. The great thing about being on a tour like that is that there's no expense spared.
Yeah.
You get looked after. Like, when you're doing your job, it's full on and it's intense. But when you stop, there's a driver there to take you to your 4-star hotel.
Yeah.
After you've had catering. And the catering, I came back overweight. I mean...
usually the tours when you lose weight because your eating's all over the place.
The physical... nature of the job and the fact that, let's be fair, let's take the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, for example, or Wembley even. To walk round Wembley, like on the concourse or whatever floor that you're on, takes quite a while. It's like so. My colleague used his, I think, pedometer or his something on the iPhone or whatever, and it turns out we were walking 25 miles a day. And a few of those miles were carrying
stuff.
Yeah. And obviously... you try and be useful, so people will be like, oh, can you do this, can you do that? And so you've done a full day's work and a big walk, so you'd think you'd lose weight. Not when you've got catering that is like eating in a posh restaurant every day, right? I don't do breakfast, really. But when there's a full English breakfast being offered to you every day,
You can't say no.
it's the smell of it.
Yeah, it is.
It's the look of it, you know, and then you eat it and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've got to do a full day's fucking work now. Then, of course, lunch with dessert, pudding, whatever. I don't, you know, lunch is usually a passing bite, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not a full sit-down meal with pudding.
Because you don't normally have the capacity to do that. It's like, you know, I'll go and get a sandwich or something.
Who's cooking it for you?
Exactly.
Who's
so
got the time
now
to
it's
do
like,
that?
here you go. Look, do you want all this? You're like,
You go in there,
yeah.
it's like, well, do you want this brilliant dinner, this brilliant dinner? It's not just like, oh, here's a plate of chips, see you later. And then obviously, you know, your evening meal is the same. And yes, I came back a little bit tubby, actually.
But you know, stop when it did.
It was a lot of fun, and then I dropped onto Bon Jovi for a couple of dates, and that was fun. Got around the country.
Was Bon Jovi similar venues as well?
Yeah, different vibe. I found, obviously, because I'd been working with a tour ongoing, it was like a family by the end of it.
Right, yeah.
All right, there were people who didn't like each other, or I didn't like certain heads, or whatever.
But they still get on with their work.
But yeah,
they?
you're still part of a sort of moving army.
Of course.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, the actual logistics of what goes into these things. They're mental, you know. There's B teams because they sort of do it. They leapfrog each other.
Yeah.
To build,
sometimes they have 3 going on.
I believe
at the
so.
same time.
Yeah, I mean, because I've built stages like that, and we've done the steel or whatever. We've done the scaffolding. We've built it up, and you're like, you know, you're doing it a week before the band turn up. You know, you're well in advance, or several days. I mean, we did Beyonce at the cricket ground, and we built this like 60-foot LED wall, brick, like cube kind of thing. Yeah, that was great. Yeah. To their shows, I still put some shows on, but I'm very selective.
Yeah.
Well, when I say selective, I just like working with bands that we make money out of.
Yeah.
You know, not we make money, we all make money together.
Yeah, the whole
and I
thing.
think that's really important.
Yeah.
Let's say, I mean, we've worked together.
Yeah, we have.
Several times.
Shows, yeah.
And when you're a headline band, we did headline shows,
yeah,
didn't
we? Did a couple,
you know, the band, I always like it when I walk away with a few quid and the band walk away with a few quid.
Of course.
That's the best thing, when everybody's got a pocket full of money. And, you know, the support bands, it's like if you make an effort, I'll make it worth your while, you know?
Exactly.
It's not pay to play, I don't agree with that. But if you do sell some tickets and you do bring a load of heads down, then hell yeah, I'm going to give you some of that money too, right? Because I would like you to do that again.
Yeah.
Not like I'm going to rip this band off and we'll never see them again.
No.
It's like, well, surely you build up anyway. So I'm lucky I work with a few bands and still do the numbers without having to go crazy with the promotion, because we do promote gigs, but
if you're using the right bands, it kind of takes care of itself. A lot of half of it anyway.
It can do. Specifically, I mean, obviously I work with Blaze Bailey, you know, the ex-Iron Maiden guy. There are people that will go to that show.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got to let them know about it, but there comes a point where you almost stop promoting it. You know, you've done everything you need to do. You've done the posters, you've done the Facebook posts, the tickets are selling. His fans know it's on.
Yeah.
There's no one else out there that's going to walk past a poster and go, oh, Blaze Bailey, Iron Maiden, I think I'll go to that.
Yeah.
That's rare as rocking horse shit, mate. No one really
Not
does
these
that.
days.
You know, when bands go, oh, no one came to watch us, there was 4 bands on it, was a fiver. I'm like, yeah, because no one knows who you are.
Exactly.
No one fucking cares.
Yeah.
Sorry to say it.
At the end of the day.
You've got to be good. You know, you've got to be... And when I say good, there's a lot of... I mean, what I love about Manchester particularly is that it's very fertile for live music. You know, kids get in bands. Lots and lots of bands, DJs, producers, and there's always loads of cool stuff going on. You know, but the fact is that there's a lot of them, and there's not enough people to watch them all. There might have been a few years ago. I certainly remember... I don't know whether it's the economy or whatever. I just think people... Or maybe it's the age group that have moved on, and the 18 to 25-year-olds that have replaced them aren't necessarily into...
There's a lot more of them as well, though. It's a lot easier to do that these days.
There's a lot of gigs on as well. I mean, there's a lot of bands, and every band, you know, wants to play a gig, and that's great.
But as we've said it many times on this show, like your average punter isn't going to as many small venues to see smaller bands these days.
I think what it is my personal theory, and I think this is why arena and Apollo-sized gigs still smash it, or 10,000 cap gigs, or whatever, you know, the big bands, the big touring bands. You pay that money, all right, it's 50, 70, or how much was Metallica? Was it a one-er?
I was 96.
Certain seats,
Getting
£100. Yeah, but you know what? Like, you pay that money, you know what you're going to get. You know that show is going to be great. You're getting guaranteed value for money. I think the ideal situation would be to get it where I've got a job that I can just tick along with, pays the bills. No, I've not got any kids.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I've studiously avoided that burden.
Snap.
They're lovely and all that, you know. Sister's got two. I've got a niece and a nephew that are brilliant, but I'm not ready for that, and I may never be.
Don't have time.
I just like my money.
Yeah.
I like my
I'm the
freedom.
same.
I like to do what I want to do, and it never happened accidentally to me, like it did to other friends. Where and because I know that I'd rise to it.
Yeah, you just do it.
Yeah, I would do it because I've seen many friends that are brilliant parents that were total yobbos, or you know.
Yeah. But something like can change a person, can't it? You just I've got to get my shit together.
All of a sudden, your priorities and your obligations are completely different. They have to be.
Yeah.
If you're a decent person, they have to be. Or it will all become. And that's how I would be.
Yeah.
And knowing I would be like that is why I've chosen not to do it.
Like some people say, oh, it's like selfish not having kids because you want to do like your own thing. But like everybody doesn't have to have kids, do they? You can't.
No, they don't. They don't. And if you're not like fully into the idea of doing it, definitely don't do it.
Yeah.
You know. Maybe. I've not ruled it out, but I don't want to be having kids when I'm 50 even, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you don't want to be...
You do hear that sometimes these days, and you think, well, when he's like 20, you're going to like 80.
Nothing against it, and that maybe that will happen to me. I don't know, and if it does, you embrace it. But obviously, you know, if your kid's 20 and you're 70, you know, you're not going to be around for the bulk of... You know, I mean, let's be fair, I don't really want to go past 80, 85 anyway. You know, the moment, like, I can't go for a run or kick a football, like, you know.
I mean, some people, their only ambition is to have kids and have a family, and that's fine.
Amazing.
But I think we're both the same, where it's like, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I want to do something, I want to achieve something.
My eye was always on something. I don't know what. But it was like doing something different, doing something creative. Yeah,
that's
something cool, you know, something that like...
It's part of the reason why I started this.
Mate, this setup is brilliant, by the way. This is a pro setup. This is really cool. So yeah, well done for getting it to this stage, because I know how difficult it is. And coming in today, I was like, this is... Obviously, I've thought about doing the same thing. You know, we're both people
You
with a
easily
lot to
could
say.
do this as well.
Well, maybe we should do it more often.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
Definitely.
we can make a regular thing out of it, and then that would work for both of us. So, you saw it here first. So I was really intrigued to come down and see your setup, because obviously you've taken your cues from current podcasters.
Yeah.
Could you call them?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and I mean, who's the leading light? It's Rogan, isn't it?
Joe Rogan, yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's interesting, Joe Rogan. When I first saw him, I was very suspicious.
I remember having this conversation with you like a few years ago. Like, you weren't a fan. You weren't a fan.
This prick, you know. Like, I mean, I've got loads of mates that do MMA, but you know, he was like, I just thought, oh, it's just some fucking prick, isn't it? Gonna, you know, because some of his early guests were people like Milo Yiannopoulos, Ben Shapiro. You know, these are dickheads. They're not cool people. It's good that he has them on, though. Now I realise. Well, when I thought that was,
thought like a lot of people, you associate him with them. You think he must be on their side.
Right.
He must agree with them, but he just has. But he'll have some of the opposite on as well.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders on.
Exactly.
I mean, that's cool fucking crazy. When I saw that, I was like, you know what? I take everything back, because he has got the most socialist, liberal, left-wing guy in the United States. Can you imagine
he doesn't give a fuck.
Mate, imagine what all the Rogan fanboys must have thought about that? Because they thought, hey, he's ours.
Yeah.
You know, he's Breitbart, he's this, he's that. I mean, I still think he does stick up for him a little bit. Like, you know... You know, a lot of these people don't need to be fucking heard. I mean, Ben Shapiro.
Can of worms.
Look, I mean, he just doesn't strike me as a particularly compassionate or nice man. And you know what? If your job in life is to be a fucking troll, like, is that the sum total of your fucking effort? You know, I'm a bit of an agitator online. How about we all get along? You know what I mean?
I know.
And he's got that voice as well. I think that Joe Rogan pities him. I think he's like that school kid that Rogan's like, I'll defend you. But yeah, Rogan's come into his own. And I mean, having Bernie Sanders on was quite unbelievable, because, you know, he really fucked with what must have been some of his original audience.
Yeah.
Because Sanders is widely hated in these states, as much as he's loved, because they've got it into their heads that, you know, whatever, socialism, this, and it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with a fairer society. You've just been bullshitted into thinking that this is the next step towards Soviet communism. But that's a trick that rich people use to trick poor people into staying poor, though, isn't it?
He has a good palette of guests of all different varieties, and
some of the people I've never heard of.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's some guy who I can't remember his name. Anthony Cumia. Cumia.
He was on the.
He's a breakfast DJ
he
from
was.
New York. He's obviously famous in the States. No one knows who he is over here. That's one of my favourite ones. He's fucking hilarious.
And they got banned off the show, didn't they?
Yeah,
a few years ago.
Because they had a thing where they had a thing where you had to call in the station and say, "I'm having sex in this like public space right now," and someone, I think, was it anal sex in a church?
Something like that. Yeah, it was something like that.
And they were like, "I know," and also they made up an April Fool's that the mayor's been assassinated.
Oh yeah.
Like that's hilarious. But
It
can you
is.
imagine? It's like, the mayor's been shot.
You're on mainstream. Well, I suppose it's satellite radio.
It was mainstream radio.
Yeah.
He's gone on to satellite radio. Anyway, stuff like that's hilarious.
That was the Opie and Anthony show. That was.
Well, I went and checked a load of his stuff, and it turns out this guy's a bit of a piece of shit, to be honest with you. I mean, but he's funny, really funny, and he had a really good take on a few things, and it was, I've listened to that one a few times. The Patrick Cox one is really... Is it Patrick Cox? What's his name? Thingy Cox?
Brian Cox.
Yeah. Patrick Cox fucking shoes, innit?
Yeah, that was good. That was
posh,
good.
Innit?
Yeah,
that was good.
Like, when he has some of the professors on or astrophysicists, sometimes I give them a miss.
Yeah.
Because it just goes over my head.
Well, the thing is with Rogan is
but
he is intelligent beyond belief.
Yeah.
He is... Because he is conversant, he can get on a level with these guys...
For some of the subjects.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And he brings things to the table and... Joe Rogan's got this everyman kind of vibe about him, and that's what makes him sellable.
That's the appeal
but he's
of it,
not, though. He's fucking not. I mean, look at him. He's a martial arts expert. He's a serious gym guy. He's hugely intelligent. He's become a cultural phenomenon on his own. So he's not an everyman, really. He's a polymath, isn't he?
But he's not. It's not intentional. He's just. It's pretty much the same now as it was when it first started.
Just slightly better production values.
Production values and the guests have sort of varied and profiles gone up.
Yeah, and a few of his guests. I mean, is it Joey Diaz?
Yeah.
Brilliant, isn't he?
What a guy.
Well, he's just talking about doing cocaine
because of him,
for
I listened
years.
to his podcast as well. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, he's really good.
Smokes weed, just does, "What's up, motherfucker?"
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the other thing about Rogan as well. He's very pro-marijuana.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really interesting that, or he has right-wing people on or whatever. Didn't he have Ted Nugent on?
Yeah, he did.
He's a tosser, though, isn't he?
Not many people like it. I try and separate the music from the artist.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's... If you can do that, that's helpful. I
still listen to Michael Jackson. One of my favourite all-time artists.
Jackson got a pass. He's been
the music's
given a
that
pass.
good, you can't argue with it.
Glitter, right? No. And them guys.
The music wasn't that good anyway, to be fair.
But
bands talk about it because I've had discussions with other bands. It's basically like, why aren't more younger people coming to hard rock gigs and metal gigs and the festivals that we all know at our level?
Yeah.
Why is the demographic, say 35 to 65?
Yeah.
Why is that the average demographic?
You can get the stats from Spotify.
And well, yeah. And you think
male between 35 and it was between male 35 and 65, I think it was.
Yeah.
Across the board.
And I mean, I know people might try and twist what I'm saying and go, "Oh, you're slagging us off who attend gigs." It's like, no, it's not. It's an observation, and it's something that needs addressing before it gets too late.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at these pictures then. Pull it up, Tech. So, the audio listeners, you'll have to go on YouTube and watch this.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, you can tell looking at the picture.
Yeah, you can see it, can't you?
I mean, it's just an observation, and you're thinking, it's in my eyes, it's young bands playing to older audiences.
I mean, is there anyone there under 25 in the audience?
You're probably hardly pushed to get that, and I mean, I think it's great that everyone's out supporting live music,
of course,
and being there. But I want to know what it is that puts them off, and why they don't see it as cool as going to a 21 Pilots gig, or going to, I don't know what other band, Parkway Drive, or As I Lay Dying, or While She Sleeps,
Do you think it's because they now have the option, which we didn't have, to just watch it on YouTube?
It could be one of those as well.
I don't think they realise how good it is to experience it live.
There's obviously a lot of younger people out there who enjoy hard rock and blues rock music and, metal and thrash metal and hard metal and stuff because they're playing in the bands.
Yeah.
But yet, It's a band of people in their early 20s to mid 20s, mostly playing to audiences of 30, 40-year-olds to 60-year-olds.
Yeah.
And you think, why aren't there more younger people coming to these gigs?
Yeah. Can you pull up that one of Nirvana? I think it was a black and white one.
Yeah, that's a perfect
Yeah, that
example. You can tell everyone
That's
in
all
that crowd
kids.
is kids.
Basically, the band is only slightly older than the audience.
I mean, I couldn't find the other one, but I mean, I've seen the gigs like Metallica and Guns N' Roses when they were playing,
It was
and
the
it's
same
all
thing.
young metalheads.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody saying that if you were a 30-year-old at these gigs, you stood out like a sore
Yeah,
thumb.
you're old.
You're old, and I'm thinking, you know, that a lot of the festivals we play at are all ages or 14 plus,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like, where's that next generation of all them that went to the Monsters of Rock? Because when all these
Yeah,
people
that's
that
true.
go to the Monsters of Rock festival, they were all 18 to 20s.
Yeah.
And, you know, bless them, they're all still going out and supporting live music, which is awesome. But that it's like, why isn't that same demographic going to these, say, grassroots
Why is it
festivals?
not happening now? What was happening?
Yeah.
Like, by the way, I used to look exactly like Kurt Cobain because I'm left-handed as well. I had my hair the same.
Bleach blonde.
Yeah. No, well,
And you
anyway,
need to
my hair was
definitely
much
find
more-
some photographs of this shit.
That is, yeah.
I mean, is there any more pictures in there and stuff?
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, there's
So
lots.
I mean, it's again, it's amazing supporting of the scene, but it's like I want to see, you know, or I just want to know why we've got festivals that have such an eclectic group of
Yeah, that's
bands
true.
playing
Yeah.
of different styles and genres that they will like. But is it because, say, the big mainstream magazines aren't promoting it, that they don't see it as something as cool to be attending?
Well, I mean,
Um,
is Kerrang considered the young person's magazine these days?
I think it still does have quite a large demographic. I'm not sure if Rocksound's still going or not. But then again, are the younger lot reading the magazines?
No.
You know, are they actually?
Do they just absorb social media, do you think? Do they go to any news outlets for anything?
Honestly, I honestly can't tell. But I mean, as I said, it's something that we sometimes sit there with other bands, and you do ponder it.
Yeah.
You know, and you're thinking, you know, it's one of those
we
where
were exactly the same. That typified our audience as well.
yeah, I was kind of like when I started going to gigs, I'd be like one of the youngest there, like in town at some of the pub gigs. But then again, eventually it got more and more, and there was a good demographic of 30-40% under, you know, around that 20-year-old sort of mark at the minors, and that's what you think about, and it's a topic that other bands probably don't want to discuss.
But they
Because
should.
they're scared
But they
that
should.
people will think, you know, that they're going against their fans or the audience and stuff. But it's a question that a lot of people try and avoid because they don't want to think that they're taking the mick or saying, oh, there's only this age demographic at the gigs. It's an observation that
I mean, if your gig's
people
full,
should be.
that's great. That's
Exactly.
That's all that matters. But you still, it's okay to wonder about these things.
Yeah.
And think, what is there anything we could do?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, sometimes I look at festivals and I think, with their lineups, you're not really going to attract a younger crowd and generation that are going to support your festival for years to come by having acts on that they consider mum and dad bands.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. To put it that way,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how they describe it.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about some of the music your mum and dad listen to, you think, Christ, I wouldn't go and see that for shit.
No.
But it's that type of thing where, you know, there's a small percentage that do like that, but why isn't there more?
Yeah.
And I mean,
What's
you know,
what's
a lot
changed?
of these. I mean, is there any other photographs that you got up
Yeah,
there
there's
as
a few
well?
more.
They're all here.
I mean, yeah. I mean that there, you can tell looking at the front row.
Look at the white beards.
Yeah,
This guy.
And
Look at the guy in the middle.
he's
He
in,
looks-
he's
he
in
looks a bit out of
tourist.
place.
He's in tourist mode
Yeah.
there. And I mean, it's like you can tell the band are young, but the
Yeah.
crowd, you know, and it's like, as I said, there's younger people out there that are loving this music because they're making it.
Yeah.
But why isn't there the same enthusiasm to be in the audience watching it? And this is what I'm trying to get round. And this is what I said. Lots of people talk about it, but they don't want to say it publicly.
Mm.
because again, it's like
It's definitely a
it's
thing.
like a taboo thing of like,
And
oh,
it shouldn't be.
yeah, but it's like saying you want to keep the scene alive.
Yeah.
Again, another great band. We've done lots of stuff with them. Brilliant guys. And you're thinking, fantastic support.
Look, that crowd's immense.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely brilliant. But again, young people in the band. But why aren't they having that whole crowd as
Yeah,
that
I mean,
same age?
Back in the day, would the average age of the audience have been older than the band? Like if the band were all in their 20s,
No, they wouldn't.
would the average age of the audience be similar or younger
Yeah.
to now? It would always be like
I mean, like when Motley
twice.
Crue, look at the Motley Crue audiences when you see the pictures when they first started out.
yeah.
It's
Well,
like younger than the band.
The advantage that those bands have, who are still going now, is they get like 3 generations of people going to their shows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But when they started, it was all younger people.
Mm.
But you don't get that these days.
Yeah, I mean,
weird.
we were lucky with us guys in that we had a good mix. It was a good proportion of younger people at our gigs with the, as you say, that generation that had been there, done that,
Yeah.
and seen it. And it was a good mix, and it was a good atmosphere to be involved in. And again, it's like you got to think, right, what can we do to get more, energy and more enthusiasm into that upcoming generation that are going to appreciate the hard rock and metal music that we do, that we keep pushing, and with things like this show and stuff, trying to show that it's, it is cool to go to these gigs, just because Kerrang and all these other places aren't saying these are the bands to go and watch. You should be out there, and if you're a fan of that music, you should go and enjoy it.
I think social media does have, and like YouTube has a lot to answer for, because I think it's so easy to just watch anything that you want to watch. Anything you come across, you can just explore it.
I mean,
and go deep
if you
into
zoom
it.
in on that festival crowd there, I don't know if you can zoom in at all. And
I don't know. Not
and
without
that
potentially messing it up.
It's fine. You can tell though.
you haven't got a touch screen.
I wish.
But it again, the festival there, that will be for
That's
all.
where you get a good mix.
It will be for all ages. But when you zoom in, you can tell there's a demographic there again.
Yeah.
And it's nothing, against anyone there or the bands playing, because they're all brilliant guys, all great bands,
Oh yeah.
all great people for going and supporting these festivals. It's again a question and observation of saying, why is it not attractive to the 16 to 20-year-olds?
So I think, thinking about it now, I think half of it is because we didn't have the option to watch it online or in any digital form. Our only option was to go and see it. Whereas the kids these days can just watch it all online, and they probably judge it on that rather than what's being lost is they don't know how good the experience is of seeing what they've seen online in real life.
Exactly.
And to be honest, half the time the artists would rather they did that.
Yeah.
The artists put more emphasis on the live performance of it rather than they did in the studio. Their
Yeah.
vision is like when they write it, what's it going to be like live?
Yeah.
How can we make this better so it transfers
I mean,
live?
as I said before, when I was growing up, didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
Really, and if you did, it was very basic. YouTube wasn't knocking about.
Nope.
So your only chance was to get out there and actually go and see them play.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, great bunch of lasses, great band, But again, look at the crowd. It's cockfest.
I know there's no women. I was just going to say there's 0 women in that audience. It's all men.
hang on, there's one at the bottom there. I think there's a couple, but again, it's like, that is a girl band in the early 20s, mid 20s.
Yeah.
Why aren't the girls there in the crowd who are
Wanting to be
inspired,
them.
wanting to be them?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's
Good
yours the young girls at who it should be ramming the place out, and saying like these girls that are playing hard rock music, kicking ass, why is it that it's not getting to them or getting through to them? But I mean, I know you get a lot of younger people that download.
Yeah, download's definitely
and
more open.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
And their mix is getting good, but I can see. It's funny how over the years, Download have had experimental experiences, shall we say? You know, like chasing status playing.
Yeah.
And you're like,
they've tried a few different things over the years, haven't they?
And having Elvana play on the second stage, I think.
Oh yeah.
And to me though, I mean, that to me is a testing. All these things are doing a testing the water because they know that there's going to be a point where the headliner bands are going to go. They're going to be gone. So it's who's the draw.
They're sort of trying to think.
They're
what are we going to do?
Expanding their tastes. Because I mean, if you look at some of the festivals, like the grassroots ones that are starting, you know, coming out, you know, the mid-range festivals where you know they're the 2,000 to 5,000 capacity type ones. They're you know, they're hitting a demographic again, but the tribute and you know, cover band festivals like Presswich, Rockwich, they're selling out. You know, I know the tickets are for free, but some of them aren't.
Yeah.
You know, like Wannsee Festival, jam packed. It's getting bigger every time now, right? And
I was there this year.
You're thinking tribute festivals are bringing more people to them than their original band festivals, and that would worry me. Yeah, because you've got a smaller market that all these festivals are fighting for. Like there's like a smaller group of people that they're trying to get.
So many festivals now. It's crazy.
And as I said, if you're not bringing in young blood, it's like they're only choosing to go to the bigger festivals because it's got all the bands on that they like. Yeah. You know, it's the new generation of bands that they're mostly going to see. They're not going to see the headliners, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's quite a lot of the, as I said, from 16 to 18-year-olds that I know that go to Download through family and friends, and I've been there with them. And we went to watch a band that you could, I don't know, I suppose you say it's just a classic sort of hard rock sound stage. They lasted one song. And went, oh God, this is boring. Ugh, I'm going off to see As I Lay Dying. I mean, I think they prefer the more screamo, grindcore, metal type bands. But it's that thing that a lot of these festivals are putting on this new wave of classic rock thing, because they're all jumping on a bandwagon, are trying to get the same crowd to come to their festival, then their festival, and instead they're not attracting a younger audience. I mean, when you see the stats of that page come out, I think even the admins are sometimes like, I think I've seen the question on their page, what can we do to get more young people involved with this page and the bands? They knows an issue themselves there.
No one's got the answer.
You know, it's like, what's the percentage? It's like nearly 60% of the page is 40 plus. Yeah. And then there's like a small demographic of 10% is 18 to 25 or something.
Very small.
It's very, very small. And
you'd have to have incentives for younger people to go, like free tickets.
Yeah.
Just to get them in the door to experience it at least once, so they know what they're missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you knew all these younger people what their favourite artists were, offer them ticket. Yeah, because I think like they obviously consume all these bands and artists online, but what is making them not decide to go and see their favourite artist live? Because they're obviously not.
Yeah. I mean, years ago when we played like it was Cock Rock, like Cockermouth Festival.
Yeah, or Northbound.
Yeah, there was a lot of young folk there.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
I do remember that.
That was great. You know, it was just like, yep, everyone's getting it out here. You know, and again, that kind of went all by the wayside.
Could have been huge, that, but they just they kept messing up on the lineups.
But I mean, to get back to some of the festivals putting on tribute bands, it was like, I think Wacken, or Grasspop put an AC/DC tribute band on after the main act on the main stage, I think.
Oh yeah, I've heard of festivals do that after the headline, because people still want something to do.
But again though, I think it's a test in the water of kind of saying, right, this band's the headliner, but we're really going to stay for the party because it's going to kick off when the AC/DC band come on. Yeah. Because we know the songs, and it's going to be a great blast. And that is part of the draw to get punters. So say for example, you could have like Bolton and Valentine headlining on the Friday night at Wacken, and then the biggest AC/DC tribute band afterward. That's going to bring the whole show, the cannons, the blow up whole lot of Roze, the trains, everything. It's like AC/DC technically, but without the original members. And people are going to go, you know what, Bullet are cracking, but it's going to be even better after that, man, with all 80,000 of us all fucking singing a whole lot of Roze. And that's it, because you know you're getting your party time, you're getting a good festival atmosphere. But I mean, to me, when Download had Elvana on, you know, nothing against that band, they're great at what they do, you know, good stuff, but to me it was a slap in the face to original live, you know, original proper bands doing original music.
It was a missed opportunity as well.
Well, no, I think to me, it's like, you think about bands out there that work the socks off year in, year out, you know, and
they would deserve. Well, you know how they sometimes will have a band like that open the day. You could have put someone equally who's level.
I think they were on during the midday.
Why not, after the headliner band's playing, put a new up-and-coming band? If people are going to be sticking around, put a newer band on after them. Yeah,
that's a good way to introduce new people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They do it at the beginning, so why not at the very end?
Yeah, but no, the thing was, it's just like, so you put a tribute band on one of the biggest festivals in Europe, where you could have had an original act, exposing them to such a large crowd to get more fans and continue new music.
Yeah.
Instead, you're just doing a rehash of Nirvana, but with an Elvis edge to it, and it's like, come on, why did you do that for? And it's like, oh, it's a festival, it's entertainment, it's, you know, it's something different. It's like, well, yeah, but there's a place for it. Tribute festival.
Missed opportunity, definitely.
You know, there's a tribute festivals, that's what they're for.
Yeah.
You know, to go and see that type of stuff. And I just kind of think it's like, I know bands that have been going longer than us and worked harder and done more. They've never played Download.
Yeah.
You know, I'd give my right nut to play a Download on that stage. But yeah, if I knew all along all I had to do was dress up as Elvis and sing Nirvana songs, I would have done that.
Yeah.
So where did it initially start? Where did the idea come from?
Oh, that's a hard one. So it was a bit like evolution, to be honest, with me.
Right.
So before I was at Penrith, I was at Whitehaven for a spell there, and when I was there, out of my welcome meeting, when you join McDonald's, there's like a meeting with a number of different people where they talk you through everything, and then once you've done all your learning and stuff, your training, then you're allowed on the floor. Out of my meeting, I was the first one that was allowed on headset. A lot of the others were very. The other managers were very kind of reluctant. Should we let him? Should we not? Type of thing. But one of the managers said, "Well, it's only like being on the till, so we'll give it a go." And I wasn't funny at that time, but I was still very enthusiastic. Came across. So it kind of evolved from that, to be honest. And I did really well, and then just one day, it was probably about 2 weeks after I'd first been on headset, a woman who'd lost somebody close to her came through the drive-through, and I don't know what it was. I managed to cheer her up, and from there she phoned the store and the head manager there, and said I'd cheered her up and everything. And I started to go, okay, I could do something with this a little bit more. And everybody would say, oh, you're very happy, but I didn't do the jokes or the type of stuff that I now do.
Right.
And then I started to push it further. So at the very end, I'd be going ba ba da ba 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 or something like that, and people started really loving it.
Yeah.
And that was when I started to put more jokes in, more things. I never scripted it. I never planned it, because I wanted each thing to be unique. I wanted each thing to be different. And so, yeah, I never planned anything before. It just kind of, it came on the spot, and it's kind of grown into what it is now. And as I say, I left Whitehaven back in August.
Right.
Had a 6-week break, and then have come to Penrith.
Yeah, you put Penrith on the map straight away, almost.
Well, I was going to say the evolution sped up a little bit since Whitehaven. It took me good couple of months at Whitehaven. It took me 3 weeks at Penrith.
So at Penrith were a bit more accepting of just what you were doing, I suppose.
I think it's just open-mindedness. I think you get a lot of different people. I think the big thing, the difference between Whitehaven and Penrith is that Whitehaven's kind of over there. It's mostly the residents that go.
Yeah.
So once you kind of get through a lot of the people, and then they're seeing you again and again, and so it kind of gets down on that point. But from Penrith, in terms of customers,
right off the motorway, the M6.
It's right. Yeah, exactly. So it's like a motorway services. So you get a lot of different people. You get an even bigger mix of people than at Whitehaven, because you've got people coming down from Scotland, going down London way, or that you've also got the train station right next to you. So it's there's a bigger mix of customers, which I think that's probably a reason why it went viral the second time at Penrith, is because there was a bigger reach. I personally believe. Yeah,
'cause we have actually met. I did experience it myself.
You see, I do serve a lot of cars.
I think it was. Yeah, we could go today. I think it was.
Okay.
But it was one that was really busy, when they get a second person out to take separate orders.
Yes,
so
yeah.
I was one of the other ones.
Okay.
So I didn't actually, you didn't take my order, but when I went round to the paying window, you were stood just waiting for the next guy, and you just went, "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing."
Well, yeah, that's me.
But what I was going to say was the whole thing, it's like completely, like, obviously been going to McDonald's drive-through for years.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen it like that before. Like, all the people behind me, the people in front of me were all laughing. It's just smiling faces everywhere, and it just give everybody a lift.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
That's it. I think the big thing is surprising people. Like the looks. I wish we could take photos of the actual camera stuff. Some of the looks. I mean, like 99.9% of the time, they take it the right way, and everybody's smiling. There's some. Occasionally, you get a grumpy person, but
there are miserable people that do exist.
but generally. Yeah. It's all. Everybody's very. They love it, but they're not expecting it. And
so the key thing was that Lad Bible picked it up and they've shared it.
Yes,
and it's got almost 4 million views.
It was 3 million, just under 3 million last time I saw it.
But I think 3.6 or something now it is.
It's gone crazy. I didn't expect it to go this big.
But what I didn't realise, you've had your fair share of drive-throughs over your time, Tech.
Yes, I have.
Do you have a camera so you can actually see the person?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
I knew that when I made a face at someone and they said, "Oh, there's no need to be like that."
Well,
damn it, got me.
No,
because the video that it's shared, because the guy's got a pink t-shirt. You've seen it?
Yeah.
The guy's got a pink t-shirt at the very end. You go, "I like your t-shirt." So he's like, he's shocked that you can see him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I didn't know that either.
So it's not so much at Penrith. At Whitehaven, there's actually 2 drive-through lanes, and the idea is obviously you can see the customer so you can interact with them, and then not so much as I say at Penrith, but at Whitehaven, when you accept the order, when you put the first item on the order, it takes a photo of you, and it sends it to the other till, so that when you pay, you know that you're getting the right order.
It's like when you get off the rides at Alton Towers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Would you want to buy this one?
So yeah, it's definitely like that. At Penrith, we only have 1 lane, and so there's not the need for that. But we can definitely still see the customers, and I think that's a very important part, because I can kind of tell how to play it. Like if it's a woman, then I'll do something like the Spice Girls or Girls Aloud or something. If it's a man, then I'll do more like a rap or that type of thing. So I think the camera's an important part for me anyway, so that I can tell kind of how to play the customers basically.
And fair play to McDonald's, they seem to have embraced it.
Oh yeah, definitely. As I said, the people at both Whitehaven and Penrith have completely accepted it. I mean, obviously coming from Whitehaven, Penrith were kind of knew that I had something different and surprising, but the managers at Whitehaven were very surprised. But everybody's been so supportive. I mean,
people were coming in just for that, just for you.
Yes, yeah, we had a lot of calls.
There's an upturn in business, so they're not going to complain, are they?
No, they're not. They're not going to complain. It's a unique experience, and I think that's the main thing everybody loves about it.
Because, I mean, I had to actually speak to McDonald's in order to get you on here.
Yes.
I had to speak to McDonald's media department.
Yes.
They wanted to know what we do and what I was going to talk to you about, which is weird. And I was like, well, I think you know what I'm talking about, but I gave them a rough outline of what we're talking about, but they've well on board with it. They were happy.
Oh yeah. Really as I say, they like to keep a tabs on what's everything's going on,
which is fair enough.
Yeah, definitely. But apart from that, everybody's been so embracing of it. There was comments on the Lad Bible post.
See, if it was me, I wouldn't have gone to the comments.
But there was I always look through the comments because I like to see what people think, their attitudes and stuff towards it. But there was one comment from a person who works, I think it's at the McDonald's Leeds store. I don't know what one, and said that their managers had shown it to their team and said that they want them to be like it. So
but the new standard when you go to McDonald's now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're going to change all their training, going to spend millions on that.
That's it. I've rewritten the book in a certain way. To how to order take.
So you've left your mark either way.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter how long I work there now. I will leave, and my spirit will live on forever.
Because did you get Employee of the Month for that?
I got Employee of the Month and Employee of the Quarter at Whitehaven. I also got Employee of the Quarter there's some managers that aren't like store managers. They go round to a number of stores within the franchise,
right.
And I also got Employee of the Quarter for that, which was great, and that was out of a number of stores. And
nobody can compete with that.
No. there's not many.
There's people handing their notice in left, right, and centre. Forget this, I can't do that.
There's been a few attitudes such as I'm not as happy as you. It's not going to happen. But
you've turned something relatively mundane or just normal into something interesting and funny and different.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I love to improve things.
Because when I was in the drive-thru last Sunday, I was thinking the only people who would like disapprove or not be up for it are people with hangovers, and that's their fault for having hangovers. That's self-inflicted, so I've got no sympathy for them.
We've had people with hangovers. I always find jokes even to make to the grumpy people. Like, there's people that say, I don't have time for this, I'm in a hurry. I'll go, well, you're not Lewis Hamilton, sir. Or something like that. So there's jokes and things to be made
just
for everyone.
Thinking off the top of your head, though, isn't it?
Exactly. And I think the more you've done it, like the more you do it, then the more you kind of warm up and you start thinking really.
Have you had people trying to do it to you? Have you had people playing up to it?
I've had people when I've kind of been whooping and everything. They've all been whooping in the cars and things like that. We've had people honking their horns. We've had people doing funny accents and things like that. We've had one guy. I think it was about 3 days ago now, I think it was on Wednesday, a guy in a van pulled up, did a cowboy accent. He was pretending to be a cowboy, so I played along with him. I don't know what the hell the people behind were thinking, but
I wish you could record all of these conversations, just pick out the best ones.
Exactly, yeah. Oh,
brilliant.
There's a number, as I said, the Lad Bible video's the one that's gone viral, everybody's seen, but there's actually loads of videos from both Penrith and Whitehaven. Yeah. There's loads from Whitehaven as well, and I do remember one where she asked for a cheeseburger and I sung all by itself.
Oh yeah,
and then she asked for something else, some fries just on their own, and I sung Lonely, and then she literally wanted everything on its own, and it was a very funny complication by the end of it. So I think it's just playing up to each circumstance, because every car's order is different, and if they order an Oasis, I will sing an Oasis song.
Has to be done, doesn't it?
It has to be done. We actually we ran out of Oasis back on just 2 days ago. We ran out of Oasis, and I just said, "Don't look back in anger."